if you plan on being in the industry and being successful for any more than 5 years, well, it behooves you to kind of get with it and to join us in the 21st century and to be part of 2009. It's not going to go away, but I don't mean it from a fear base that it's not going to go away. More importantly, it's actually very productive, and it can be a lot of fun as well. And more importantly, number 3, it actually brings more of you to the table than ever before. You are no longer just real estate agents. Heck, you never were just real estate agents. You guys are experts. You know not only the real estate process, but you know exactly what a buyer should be looking for and what a seller should be doing. That expertise of not only the geographic expertise of neighborhoods, etc., but also what a seller should be looking at and should be doing and what a buyer should be looking at and should be doing, that expertise is your raw material. That's what you're manufacturing, if you will. That's what you're processing, if this were like an industrial machine. That's the clay that you've molded to call it as a role, or the clothes that you wear, the dress that you put on, calling yourselves real estate agents, real estate professionals. That clothing may change, but at heart, you guys are experts. And what the internet is really going to enable you to do is either see it as an opportunity to bring out that expertise, or it's unfortunately doing what it's doing to a lot of industries. Think about, for example, the travel industry, another industry that's been decimated. You can think about from a variety of brick and mortar traditional retailers. It's kind of hurting them as well. And if you see this general pattern, basically what the internet does is disintermediation. What does disintermediation mean? It's a fancy word for what? What is disintermediation? Anyone heard that phrase before?
Breaks down the middleman.
Breaks down the middleman. Connects people without that broker, without that agent, without that middleman, without that intermediary. Disintermediation. That can be good. For the middleman, it's not so good. So the middleman, the distributor, the agent, the broker has had to figure out other things. Talking about technology, I was going to show you a PowerPoint, and I was going to show you the PowerPoint of the evolution of the BlackBerry. If you guys remember, how many of us had Franklin planners, let's say maybe 10 years ago? I had a Franklin planner. I was one of those kids, geeky kids that had a Franklin planner. I had a Franklin planner, so I've watched the whole Franklin planner world happen. Well, what happened with the Franklin planner? Well, instead of adopting or adapting to the new technology, do you remember that hybrid ridiculousness that Franklin planner did was not to create or invent the Palm or the BlackBerry that's kind of taken over the traditional Palm. What did they do? You're just kind of nodding your head. Do you remember? They ignored it, but they even did something that almost is ridiculous to look at it now. Do you guys remember not only having the ring binder, but they would have a ring binder and a place to hold the Palm? And it was like such a ridiculous, and that was only for folks who had the Palm as a gift, but just could not give up the paper. So they would lug around the paper, and then they would put their Palm. And many of us probably were in that stage, where we had the Palm, someone kind of gave it to us as a gift, and we kind of took it, or we bought it thinking that this was going to be the answer to our time management, and we bought that. And then we're like, oh, what are we going to put this? So, oh yeah, this is great, because it's a really beautiful leather-bound ring binder of not only our planner, but we can hold in the Palm. But if you think about it, what are they doing? I mean, it's just kind of checking your competition, your better competition, and saying, all right, yeah, come on in. Maybe we could play together. You're not going to play together. What ended up happening is that, well, they kind of took over. It's the same thing happened to Yahoo, actually. Google used to power Yahoo. It's the same concept, that when you start allowing your competitor or the biggest competition that you have to start fraternizing with your customers, well, you got to be kind of careful with that. Well, the same thing that happened to Palm and with the Franklin Planner is, unfortunately, very often I see that same analogy happening in the real estate world. Instead of using the real power of the internet, we're kind of placating to it and saying, yeah, sure, maybe we could put our listings there and then they can kind of contact us when they find the listings on the internet. Well, if they found the listings on the internet, what do they need you for? If they found the listings on the internet and they can contact the owner, because that's the secret thing, if they can contact each other by themselves, what do they need you for? And I don't mean that with any insult, I mean that with a reality check. And now I'm not saying that what do they need you for as they don't need you. I ask, what do they need you for? Because that what is your expertise. That's the what that you're bringing to the table. Now, I can't answer in this room, it's about 35 folks. I can't answer for you what that what is, what that expertise is. I know it's going to be around the world of what they should do as a buyer, what they should do as a seller, what they should do with their property, how they should actually show their space, what they should do. I mean, there are a variety of process that you probably have been giving away for free for years, almost like a lost leader that they call in the retail world, kind of giving that stuff away for free because you knew you would make the money on the transaction. Well, unfortunately, right now you're dealing with the problem of dealing with very skinny margins on the transaction and people practically fighting you on the transactions and knowing full well that those transaction dollars, they may always exist, but will only get slimmer and slimmer. It's like the retail industry. That it gets slimmer and slimmer and slimmer because of disintermediation. So either that's a fighting battle that you're going to constantly fight with, or you're going to go in a slightly different direction, but not that different. Because that what do they need you for is the answer. It's your expertise. I give you another example. How many of us know of any insurance agents? Do we know any insurance agents? Yeah, a couple of us do. Do we, any of them, there are a variety of insurances in the world, especially those who are like life insurance agents, property and casualty insurance agents. Does anyone know those kind of agents? What have they done over these past couple of years? I mean, they're in the same type of business. They're connecting buyers and sellers. They get basically a commission on the transaction when and if it closes. So they're doing whatever it takes to close it. But what have they done to differentiate themselves in the marketplace as a sales professional? And I'm a sales professional, so that's there should be a lot of pride there. But what have they done?
He took his name and turned it into a .com.
Into a .com. That's fine. We'll talk about that. Yeah. Even more so. They've diversified, they've co-marketed. What else? And that's great. Both great points. And everyone, please take notes on this stuff. Because great points. What else? Because we can learn a lot from how other industries have transformed themselves and kind of escaped an issue that is pending and is, dealing with right now. I'll submit one more thing to you, because those are two great things. The .com-ification, if you will, of our names, which is a whole world of personal branding, which I'm going to get to in a moment, as well as co-marketing and diversifying and adding new income streams is another aspect that I'll get into in a moment. But I'll kind of give you one other aspect, kind of to the heart of what my whole talk is bringing out your expertise. And that's what a financial planner has done. A financial planner or a financial advisor has taken the concepts of insurance salesmanship and turned it on its head and said, as much as they are there for closing the insurance policy deal, absolutely they are, and they should do so ethically, etc. However, they've done that with the guise of providing financial advice. Now, they've had to increase their competency. They've had to pass more exams. They've maybe had to get their Series 7 license in terms of investment brokerage and investment advice. So they've had to increase what they know, and they've had to change the way that they do business because it's now more consultative and less salesmanship, at least ideally. But what they've done is they still make money on the brokerage deal. They still make money on the transaction, but many are now fee-based financial planners, meaning they may or may not make money on the transaction, but they will make money just on the plan, as a consultant would, where they will sit with you, especially for high net worth folks, they will sit with a complex family, and they will develop a financial plan for you, provide perhaps some of the financial vehicles and instruments that maybe will help you go from A to B, but they will make money on the plan itself because their expertise is in fact even more valuable than the fact that they can get you to sign on a piece of paper for an insurance policy. That, quite frankly, is great for a salesperson to do, but you need a financial advisor to understand why and what and if and but and all the stuff around that policy. How does that relate to you? It's the same concepts. It's the same type of business model. What they've done is taken the concept of a transaction and said, you know what, in order for that transaction to be done properly, well, I need to use my expertise to help someone know if that's the right transaction for them. Likewise, you have that opportunity. They say every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. I think some great philosopher said that. I don't know who, but you could Google that. Every challenge, every problem is an opportunity in disguise. So the challenges that we're having in this marketplace, unfortunately, is going to affect a lot of people. Probably won't affect a lot of you guys. Why? Because you're here. Not because I'm great, but because you're actually taking the steps to learn new ideas. So